Baseball in the Boroughs is brought to you by Verizon. With my plan, get exactly what you want and only pay for what you need. They didn't play baseball in their borough Tuesday night, but the Yankees still got themselves a 7-1 win out in Chicago. So let's recap last night, and we're going to look ahead with New York Post Yankees beat writer Greg Joyce. Greg, we're going to have to call this segment Baseball in the Boroughs with GJ, man. We're having you on so much. Thanks for coming on again. I know the Yankees play again tonight. Let's start about talking about the pitching. Clarke Schmidt had himself another solid start Tuesday, and my man is playing 10 times better than he was earlier this season. So talk about the adversity that he went through and what Schmidt has brought to this pitching rotation.
Yeah, he had a rough first month, 6 weeks kind of the season as he was incorporating a new pitch, the cutter, to his package. Kind of took his lumps, but really over the last 3 months since then, he's been a huge lift for the Yankees. He's given them some consistency behind Garrett Cole. Obviously, the rotation has taken its hits. They've been without, at certain times, they've been without Carlos Rodon, Luis Severino, Nestor Cortez, Domingo Germán. Obviously, Frankie Montas still hasn't pitched this season. But so, Schmidt wasn't a guy that when the Yankees arrived at spring training that many thought would be a guy that was going to take the ball every fifth day. But he's really given them a real lift in terms of his consistency. Last night was his 14th straight start, giving up 3 runs or fewer. Obviously, he's got some more steps to take in terms of being able to get deeper into games, but just, the Yankees have come to expect pretty much every time that he takes the mound that he's going to give them a chance to win, which is huge when they've had so much fluctuation in the rest of their rotation besides Garrett Cole, obviously. So Schmidt being able to give them, a solid effort every 5 days has been a big lift.
Yeah, you talk about pushing through adversity and maximizing opportunity. That's exactly what he's been doing. You mentioned Luis Severino. Post-game, Aaron Boone said, we're considering everything when talking about Severino starting tonight. So what's there to consider with Severino and this rotation?
Yeah, obviously he's been struggling, and they've continued to give him starts in part because of some of those injuries elsewhere in the rotation, but they've kind of left the door open for this one. It doesn't sound exactly like Severino is going to make that start. Obviously, we will find out here shortly. But, they could go a number of different ways. They could just go with a bullpen game. Their bullpen wasn't heavily taxed last night, and they have an off day on Thursday. So if they wanted to, they could just go straight relievers for 9 innings. They could use an opener ahead of Severino. Severino struggled in the first inning especially. So, we've seen them use an opener earlier this season with Johnny Brito, and it worked out well. They might try to do that again. Or they could call up somebody like Randy Vasquez and push Severino back. The only thing is that Vasquez was expected to be the guy that was going to replace Carlos Rodon in the rotation while he's on the IL. So either way, they're going to need him at some point. It's just a matter of whether they want that to be tonight and give Severino maybe a few more days to work on his stuff in the bullpen. We'll see. But, they kind of have some options here just because they do have the off day on Thursday before opening the series in Friday in Miami.
Yeah, that'll be pretty interesting if they do go with the bullpen game. But either way, the Yankees offense is going to have to back up whoever's on the mound. And the Yankees offense handled business last night. So who looks like they're getting their bats back?
Yeah, I think, one that stood out last night was Harrison Bader. He had a 3-hit night. It was the second 3-hit game in the last 3 games. So he's starting to, he's over the last couple of weeks, really, he's starting to contribute more. DJ LeMahieu has looked more like himself over the last month. He still doesn't have a ton of power in there that we haven't seen. But, he, at least as far as getting on base and having a couple hits a night or walks, he's been able to deliver that more consistently than he had for a long stretch there. So that's big to get LeMahieu going. Obviously, they still have some guys that they got to get on track, like Giancarlo Stanton. They're kind of waiting on one of his patented hot streaks. We've seen it in flashes here and there. They could certainly use one, more extended one, but they've gotten some, important contributions up and down the lineup, and they feel like they're, kind of making life tougher on opposing pitchers. Obviously, this series is against the White Sox, who, they have a struggling pitching staff, but they saw it a little bit in the Astros series as well. So they feel like there's some signs there. Obviously, the only thing that matters at this point is the end results of whether they're getting that win and, driving in runs. They've stranded a ton of guys over the last few games. Last night they were able to kind of, drive some of that traffic home. Kiner-falefa had a big hit to kind of break the dam a little bit. But obviously, some encouraging signs, but they need the end results at this point in the season.
Yeah, let's hope that they end this or close this series out on a positive note before heading down to Miami to play the Marlins on Friday. Greg, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Brandon.